Hello and welcome to Gazette discussion for 10 June 2021. My name is Harsh Singh and in this video we shall discuss all the interesting articles that we have covered in the Gazette. The first and featured article for today is on platform economy. This is a new mode of economy where digital technology is pervading all sectors of economy, society and culture. This day in history is about MiG-21. The three important news snapshots that we have covered today are: one, India's cabotage law. It relates to movement of goods from one place to another in domestic territory. The second one is on nitrogen use efficiency, which is important for agricultural technology. And the third one relates to Supreme Court's draft rules on live streaming of court proceedings. The terms and concepts for today are: first one, supersonic commercial plane named Overture. Second one is consumer confidence survey by RBI. And the third one also by RBI. This is the specialized supervisory and regulatory cadre. New news related to it. Raimona National Park in Assam is the sixth national park in Assam declared recently. Editorials of the day. We have covered two of them. One is on water pollution in India and the causes and solution to it. The second one relates to Quad and Asia. Case study for today is on a man, Biswara Wilson, who has vouched to eliminate manual scavenging in India. Let's start. The featured news of the day is on platform economy. In this article, we will understand the meaning of platform economy and how is it different from the traditional economic system. We will get to know why is there a boom in this technology, what are the advantages, and what are the constraining factors in platform economy. This image will clearly describe to you what platform economy means. We have to go out and we book an Uber cab. An intermediary, which is Uber, provides for cabs services to us. Make my trip. We have to go to another city and we book a flight. We book an Air India flight from this app. We have to get some services at our home. So we book a service from Urban Company, a company which is an intermediary providing range of services through other technicians. Zomato. Zomato does not provide food. It only links us to all the restaurants and eateries available nearby us, right? So providing service. Amazon. Amazon also provides, interlinks us with various suppliers. And here we have the consumers of the service. What is Shadi.com? Shadi.com links the people who want to get married to other people who want to get married through an app, right? Earlier, the system was such that there was a linear form of economic cycle. For example, if I had to book a cab, I would go to the person who has the cab and then book it and use their service. If I have to eat from a restaurant, I would order from that specific restaurant. But now there is an ecosystem, a digital ecosystem which provides all these services as an intermediary, right? So earlier we had this production system, a delivery, and then demand, and then customer would use the service or the product. However, now there is a digital ecosystem which interacts with the users and then services provided to them, right? Production, customers, marketing, delivery, everything is a part of that ecosystem, right? It is all enabled through digital technology, right? This is called as platform economy, right? It is growing because there's a digital transformation, more so in countries like India, where there is a acceptance for online technology, mobile phones, etc. So we have understood what is platform economy. Here is a definition. Platform are the algorithm enabled cyberspaces where elements interact with each other and there is a transaction for it, right? So these are the places where the service providers match themselves with the people who want the service, right? So there is a market, there is a supplier, and there is an interface between them, app, website, etc. Right? Now, what is the difference then between an informal worker and a platform worker? An informal worker, gig worker, is the one who works at regular economic cycle. However, platform worker will be a part of the online digital platform here. This is the only difference. In fact, platform worker is a part of the gig system. Now, how is this platform different from the traditional platform? Very simple. Traditional platform was linear, as I explained, supply, demand, and consumption of product. However, in this platform, since there is an interaction through digital mode, there is a possibility of more collaboration, future collaboration, right? There is also a possibility of feedback, right? There is increased engagement between the supplier and the consumer of the product, right? So these are many advantages in this online system, right? Also, we also connect to a number of providers of service. So there is a networking between the businesses through this online mode, right? What are the reasons this has prospered? See, mainly because there is a tendency to have entrepreneurial services, right? Now there is a decentralized level of service provision. There are no big providers, but many providers of the service. And people who want to initiate their service, they take the help of online facilities to connect to various consumers of the product, right? Aspirations. Another thing is people are aspiring to do their business by themselves, right? India is a young country and people are talented and skilled, right? They get easy visibility through online mode. For example, we have drivers, we have cleaners, food delivery, all of them, these services can easily be provided. People want to be self dependent, so these are the modes through which they can help themselves become an entrepreneur and aspire for higher levels in their whole life, right? Okay. The third most important thing about this system is that it provides more flexibility as compared to a traditional job, right? Flexibility of working hours, flexibility of holiday, flexibility of when to go and work and come back, right? This can also be treated as stopgap job, right? Based on the skills that the person has. So this is where I would like to quickly share what what is a millennial, right? Now we have 400 millennials, and we have this system of economy where we are coming to fourth industrial revolution, right? Now industrial revolutions are linked with the people they have in those times. For example, the third industrial revolution, which we have transited from and reached the fourth industrial revolution. This is the time when we have had generation Y and the generation Z. Generation Y are the millennials. These are the people who were born in 1981, between 81 and 95, around this time. So many of us who are watching this video are millennials, right? We have used technology, we are optimistic, and we have mainly aided ourselves through computer, automation, robotics, information technology, right? And we are transiting to an age where generation Z will take over. These are the youngsters who are born later, right? And they will deal with internet of things, artificial intelligence, right? Higher forms of cyber systems, right? And this is what this platform economy is all about, right? Now, what are the opportunities this system provides? First of all, this is a complete reimagination of the whole economic system. A lot of people who are working in informal sector can be employed through the help of technology, right? Unorganized labor can later be tracked, right? It will also become easier for the government to tax, right? Then just jobs means justified. The jobs will become more justified, right? People will not be exploited. There'll be equality available in the service. There'll be a trust between the people, right? There will be a digital and financial social inclusion of the people. How? Right now, example, there is a Zomato delivery partner in Rajasthan. He got popular because though he was differently able, right, yet he was into delivery of food, right? So it also helps in social inclusion. People will be more empowered to use digital technology, right? Not only delivery of services, but slowly and steadily they will start using finances, they will start investing, right? There'll be complete revolution in the whole economic cycle, right? Also, most important, people can upgrade themselves. There'll be horizontal and vertical mobility. For example, a taxi driver can act as a delivery person. They can deliver food, not only food but other products from one place to another, right? So there'll be horizontal mobility for the people. There'll be vertical mobility as well. They can get promoted in the same service. These are the advantages it offers, right? Some issues related to this platform economy system. First of all, there'll be a scattered work schedule. Regular jobs, 9 to 5 jobs, these are not the ones, right? So there'll be a scattered work life, right? Then there'll be a monopoly of the market, of certain market. For example, Uber is monopolizing the cab services, Ola is as well, right? Similarly, we will have MMT, GoIbibo in particular service provision, right? So there'll be a monopoly in the market. So this is another shortcoming, and government will have to revise a lot of laws. The government will have to keep itself updated with technology so that It keeps up with the new forms of economic system. Here in this case is platform economy, right? You can also, while you write an answer on platform economy, you can also include an illustration like this. What is required? We need social security net for all the platform workers. There must be portability. There must be portability of the social security through this, right? There must be innovation in the kind of jobs that are provided through online modes. Upskilling, people must be helped to upskill themselves, especially in this time when we have a lot of youth population in India. And most important, women, differently abled, marginalized communities, they must be made a part of the system for inclusive development of the country, right? Now, the most important and the best part about this article is its conclusion. Look at this. Usually, technology is opposed to supply of labor. When we have more technology, supply of labor gets reduced because technology aids the work itself, right? A lot of digital technology, automated technology, it reduces the supply of labor, right? Because people are not required, the machines get automated, right? This way technology is against labor. However, in this case, technology has helped demography. Technology has helped in provision of jobs and employment, right? So this is a wonderful example of employment getting alignment getting in alignment with technology, right? So in this article, you must note down certain very important keywords, right? First of all, the meaning of platform economy: algorithm enabled cyberspace, right? Match themselves, transaction cost. Just note down these keywords, right? You can use illustrations like this: market, app, and supplier, right? You please note down this gig, this particular term, gig, and platform, digital platform. Then go ahead and write about the differences between the traditional model and platform economy. Collaboration is first word, right? And then we have networking. Why is India using it now? Entrepreneurial abilities, aspirations of the people. Now, write down these two words. And the third word is flexibility of the job, right? It will provide just jobs, reimagination of economic system, right? Financial digital inclusion, social inclusion, and cross mobility. That means transferable skills. So important keywords, they can be used in multiple answers at multiple places, right? Now, what are the issues? Note down these three issues: scattered lifestyle, monopoly of the market, and revision of government laws. This is a good illustration. You can note down some important keys from here. And the conclusion is the most beautiful part, providing a wisdom to this article. Moving ahead. This day in history is about MiG-21 aircraft, which India purchased from Russia. This is the day, June 10, when this MiG-21 was first time designed in India at Ozar Airport, Nasik. MiG-21 is always in news because it is said to be one of the deadliest aircrafts, not in the way it destructs the enemy, but in the way it destructs the flyer. It is called as Widowmaker, a flying coffin, and it has caused a lot of accidents. In 2013, the government revealed that 482 MiG accidents had happened since its induction in the Air Force in 1960s until 2013. 482 accidents, including around 200 pilot deaths. This is a humongous number. And this is how MiG-21 got a bad name. However, a lot of people say that this is an unfair description. Now, this can be asked in examination, and therefore, I will quickly emphasize what is the factor behind it. Now, MiG-21 is the maximum produced aircraft in the world, ultrasonic aircraft in the world, maximum produced. And considering the number of flying hours, considering the number of flights, sorties it took in the air, this is an overstatement that this is an aircraft which causes more of damage or technical engine failures. Yes, it is true that India needs to upgrade the avionics, the weapon systems in flights, and that is why MiG is due to be replaced with LCA Tejas, light compact aircraft Tejas. However, because Tejas, there is a delay in the manufacturing of Tejas, and that is why MiG has sustained in our Air Force. New snapshot. The first snapshot is on India's cabotage law. It relates to transfer of goods from one place to another in domestic territory. Every country will try to protect its own trade interest and people's interest. So, for example, if a good has to be transported from Kerala to Mumbai, the Indian law says that only Indian registered ships can transport this, not international ships. Yes, international ships can come into India from Maldives, from Africa, but they cannot transfer goods from one place to another in domestic territory. For example, Mumbai to Chennai or Chennai to Kolkata, right? Now, this is a protectionist policy. Every government tries to protect its people. However, it proved counterproductive, right? Now, the countries like Sri Lanka, like Maldives, like India, they are located at very strategic locations. Why? Because when goods have to be transported from one place to another, there can always be a small halt, right? Where the goods are stored for intermediate time, where another ship can come and later transport the products. These are called as transshipment zones, transshipment terminals. So India has one, India could have many, right? And so can Sri Lanka, so can strategic places in Andaman, and so can places in Malaysia and Singapore. Now, if India tries to protect its own economy by having only domestic ships operate at these areas, places like Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore, they will have more profit, right? Because the international ships will try and have their transshipment portals there, right? So this is the reason in the past, in 2018, the government said, fine, we will relax these norms and we will ensure that international ships can also participate in transshipment areas, right? Transshipment areas and export import provisions. However, now this is why this article is in news, because the government could reverse this provision of 2018. It could reverse these relaxations provided to the international ships. Why? The idea here is that the government understood that these relaxations have not proved productive, right? There are security implications if we allow the international ships to come in, right? There's already been a disruption in the complete supply chain because of COVID times, and we need to regenerate our own ports through Sagarmala projects, right? For example, we need to have the increased infrastructure, port linked industrialization and development. So the main idea is to develop Indian supply of goods through Indian ships in the region, right? So it is very much possible that the government could reverse this relaxation provided to international ships. Now, the government says that instead of providing these relaxation to international ships, why not provide tax benefit to the Indian providers, the Indian traders, the Indian ships? We can have a modal shift of transportation from road rail towards shipping, right? We must focus on decreasing the logistical cost and increasing the work at transshipment portals. We must provide these kind of measures, these three kind of measures, instead of providing relaxation to the international ships. And that is why the government is considering reversing the relaxation provided in 2018, right? So this is what the article is about. Cabotage law, please remember the name, the meaning of it, why the relaxation was provided, what are the protectionist norms, and what are the new reforms that the government is proposing, right? The second snapshot is on increased nitrogen use efficiency in the rice cultivation. Scientists have understood that there are certain genes which can help faster absorption of nitrogen in the rice variety, and this will help more yield in lesser time, right? Although there'll be slow germination, but there'll be a larger yield and the crop will grow tall and have higher biomass, right? This is very good for multiple perspectives. For example, the government will have to provide lesser subsidy for nitrogen. There'll be less nitrogen imbalance in the soil. The water pollution caused by nitrogen eutrophication, that will decrease further, right? So air pollution in the production of nitrogen, urea, etc., there is air pollution that will get reduced, and therefore nitrogen use efficiency in crops, especially rice, is very important. The third snapshot is on draft model rules provided by Supreme Court on the live streaming of proceedings in the court. Now, first of all, we must understand the context of it. It is very important to understand why this court has asked for this. The court wants that there should be right of access to justice for everybody. There must be transparency. The court proceedings must be available to all the stakeholders, right? There must be inclusivity. In public interest, there must be disclosure of what happens in the court on a real-time basis, right? And the court also wants that there should be a balance between the privacy and sharing of information. So in this philosophy, the court has given some draft guidelines, right? The guidelines here are on live streaming and recording of the video, and the final decision on this resides with the bench where this case is being heard, right? There'll be a slight delay in transmission, and communally sensitive cases might be excluded. The sexual offenses and gender violence cases could be excluded because they want to preserve the privacy of that particular person, right? And no person will be allowed to share or record all this content online without permission and without the interest of the court, right? Unauthorized usage will be treated as contempt of court and violation of various laws. So this is what the article is about, right? Certain cases will be exempted. Certain cases, as I mentioned, for privacy concerns, for juvenile justice, matrimonial disputes, where privacy is more important to people, they will be excluded out of this proceeding. Image of the day is bird monal. Two species of this bird have been found at the same place in Arunachal Pradesh. It is a very good sign because it is a good ecological indicator of existence of the bird at the same place. The two species are Himalayan monal, which is found across the north, and the other one is Slater's monal, which is found in southern China and northern Myanmar. Right? The bird has habitat loss and hunting, and that is why it is considered a species which must be protected. Terms and concept. The first term and concept for today is the supersonic commercial plane, which is in news. United Airlines has ordered 15 of these supersonic planes from the startup Boom in America. These planes are called as Avatars, right? They will be reducing the travel time by about half because of their high speed of travel, and they'll also be traveling at a high altitude of as much as 60,000 feet. They will be eco-friendly, right? Because there'll be net zero emissions from this technology. For example, aviation fuel will provide less emissions, and there'll be a good aerodynamics in the body of the aircraft. The second snapshot of the day is on consumer confidence survey. This survey is conducted by RBI in some major cities. The main idea is to understand what are the current perceptions among the people and future expectations, right, with respect to economy. On the basis of this, they prepare a current situation index and a future expectation index. On the basis of this, they understand, and people also understand, what is the spending capacity in the current times and what will happen in the future if people are not confident. Poor consumption, poor expenditure, poor savings, right? So this gives an insight into the economy at present and in future. The third term and concept is about specialized supervisory and regulatory cadre of the Reserve Bank of India. Now, Reserve Bank of India has initiated the procedure of having officers in this cadre. This cadre was formed a couple of years back with an intention that the three departments, banking, non-banking financial sector, and cooperative banks, their regulation and supervision will be unified. Earlier, banking had a different regulatory body, non-banking had a different one, and cooperative bank had a different one. Now, the Reserve Bank said we will supervise them all together at once, and we will regulate them at once in a unified manner, right? This will help to avoid information asymmetry and help to avoid something called as arbitrage, right? Arbitrage is a condition where there is a difference in the amount of spending or earning because there are two different rates given at different places. If we have a unified system, these rates will be same. Ramona. What is Ramona? It is the reserve forest which has now been converted to a national park in Assam. It is in the lower Assam in the Kokrajhar district, right? The interesting part about this particular national park is that it is surrounded by Bhutan in the north. Then we have in the east Manas National Park. This lies in borderland area, and then we have Buxa as well to the west. Buxa is in West Bengal. This is the place where our Ramona National Park is located. The other 5 national parks are Manas, Orang, Dibru-Saikhowa, Kaziranga, and there's another one here. It is called as Nameri, right? Editorials of the day. The first editorial is on water pollution and controlling it through technology. India is considered a very beautiful place in terms of natural availability of fresh water because it has 4% of fresh water and is considered one of the top 10 places for water presence, water that is potable. However, India is also a water stressed country, right? Now, a lot of rivers have gotten polluted because of industrialization and urbanization, right? To help this whole process, Ganga Action Plan was initiated, and later for other rivers as well, for example, Yamuna, Narmada, etc. However, National Green Tribunal noted that not a single drop of water has been clean in these rivers, and therefore the country needs to adopt cleaner ways to purify these rivers, right? It was understood during times of corona that it is only industrialization which is causing such issues, because during the time of lockdown, all the rivers water, it became very much pure, drinkable at places in Haridwar, and worth having bath in places like Varanasi, right? It was understood that it is possible that there's a nexus between the inspectors of the industries where sewage treatment is happening, and therefore the idea is to place Automated technology which can map the places which have increased affluence, right? For in situ water cleaning processes, right? So this is what the article is about. The second article is on the shaping of Quad and the dimensions mentioned in it, right? Now, Quad met in March at a virtual summit, and there is preparation to meeting again, and this will be a meet in person, right? There are various angles to this article. It says that China is to be tackled not only at the level of security and national security and rule of law, but also in terms of the economy and new technology, right? New role players like Australia and New Zealand have also introduced their policy with respect to China. The role of Europe and European Union with respect to their Asia Pacific policy, right? That is an important role player. The article also talks about India and USA interactions with respect to Afghanistan and China's Ladakh incursions, right? So this article is an important article with respect to Southeast Asia and the participation of Squad in the region. Please do read by clicking here. Case study of the day is on Bezwada Wilson. Now, this man is known for fighting manual scavenging. He's from Karnataka and his father was a manual scavenger. In 1995, he formed the Safai Kamchari Andolan, through which he fought for rehabilitation of manual scavengers. One must note that manual scavenging is related to a particular community, the Dalit community, and hence elimination of scavenging, manual scavenging will help uplift the Dalit community as well. Through his effort, he has ensured that lakhs of people get rehabilitated into different professions, right? So his actions depict compassion, justice, fairness, and he also dreamed big. So this quote says, small aim is a crime, have great aim. Aim big, my dear friends. Thank you.